Who, JLR? What? We guess, y'all, some crazy shit went down last night, and we'll get into that later, uh, about some creator stuff. These people, I cannot, like, what the hell is going on anymore? Okay. It was kind of epic and it's funny, and I'm going to show y'all that stuff in a little while. We're just going to be that way. We're just going to be that way. Okay. So here's the 17-minute. This is two clips put together. They're all both almost 7 minutes in length. I believe this guy was on the phone for about an hour, from what I'm hearing, with Chris. And again, we don't have the whole call, so I don't know everything that happened. I don't know how he ended up doxing the guy. I know that at some point the guy was like, "You're kind of making this personal, right?" The guy was getting a little sus, I think. But anyway, let's take a look.
All right, last caller. We've got Aaron.
Chris.
Aaron, can you hear us?
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm making it. So I also have watched Monk since the beginning, since day one. I've followed this case since day one, and I don't want to rant off either. I want to actually ask kind of rapid fire questions, but Monk's also said the backpack a long time ago in his original video that they had the wrong backpack. Everybody is really saying now that the DNA, well, don't rest on the DNA. There must be something else. So if they got the wrong backpack, the DNA is hit or miss. Likely no vehicle, maybe, but the TMZ thing too, you know, with the ransom note. And this is kind of where we all know that this is definitely about money. This whole this has got to be driven by money. It wasn't a random attack. Nancy was selected because of Savannah, high probability. And who would do this? Originally, you know, they had made 2 detainments of LD and I believe Monks, and around that time, even another channel, a sleuth guy.
Now, LD is going to be that Luke Daly guy. Now, he just mentioned seeing it on Sleuth's channel. When he said Sleuth's channel, I knew he meant Sleuth Intuition.
I was talking about the connection of LD and like a Bonnie and Clyde situation, and it's really never talked about anymore. But the TMZ thing too, they said that Harvey Levin said that in their emails from the rat, they couldn't even reply back to his emails.
Notice how he called the TMZ, I call him south of the border guy, right? Not the first batch of 2 letters that went, but the south of the border guy that kept emailing TMZ with "I know stuff, give me a Bitcoin." He just called that guy a rat. I found that really interesting and strange. Why not anything else but the rat? Okay.
They wanted to. So they were to either just listen to his instructions or pay. So really, who do you guys truly feel like at the heart could be responsible for this? Because you said a few callers ago it's probably someone in her orbit. And yet there's a lot of like coincidences with the ransom. And I think about the Zodiac a lot. I don't know if you guys are with the Black Dahlia thing, but the Zodiac sent letters too. And I feel like, well, originally, you know, there was letters sent. So that's a coincidence. The car driving around that night with a lady is also a coincidence, even if it's not connected. But there are a lot of those as well. A lot of coincidences, circumstantial things that or just kind of not talked about anymore.
This is a great call, Aaron. Think of so who do you think it is?
My original, when this day one, I thought it was the cartel because I feel like my gut just told me, you come up there that prepared with the gun in the front, it just looked like either cartel, but then a gang, thug, someone of that nature. But they clearly were staking out the place. So I don't know how I feel about the international thing anymore, and if it is someone in an orbit like LD or someone even in Tucson, then I genuinely don't.
Do y'all hear what it appears to be a dog in the background? Some say it's not a dog, some say it was, some were really off put by this weird howling sound in the background. But he says later on Sleuth's channel that it was the dog. He gets a little bent about it, like people are weird for speculating strange stuff. Y'all, I don't know. I can't get there yet that JLR put this guy up to calling anybody. This guy's out here on a league of his own. He's already been calling in. Now, JLR is behind it, maybe, but I'm not willing to go down that road yet. That's too easy. I'm not going to blame everything on JLR. He's a fucking idiot, but I'm not blaming everything on him until I get some proof. Would he put somebody up to calling up other shows? You'd think he'd put him up to calling his own show, right? That's how JLR operates. He puts his own fake callers onto his shows.
Know who it is, but there was a lady early on that she was responsible for drawing out a lot of sketches and has like the Guinness Book of World Records, and she drew that sketch. And I wonder if you guys does anybody even pay any attention to that anymore? Like,
so he brings up that weird sketch. Remember the sketch that lady drew and put out there when she couldn't even see the man's features beneath the mask? Junk science bullshit.
Well, let's take each of your pieces of the puzzle. Okay, that you've mentioned here. You mentioned the Zodiac. You mentioned Monk. You mentioned the backpack. Don't rest on the DNA. No vehicle. TMZ ransom note. Selected Savannah. LG connections. Levin. Listen or pay. Car driving around. And so now we have the cartel, that you've mentioned the cartel. So it sounds like you're kind of all over the place. So where do you think, or let me ask you this, let me break this down one piece at a time. Why are the cartels involved in this?
Okay, so everybody was originally saying, why not pay the ransom and you can get $1 million? Why only ask for 1 Bitcoin? And you guys know this, that you can clearly obfuscate yourself online. And I worked with a guy before who was telling me he used to buy people's identities and credit cards online. And I know there's ways to even transfer Bitcoin anonymously. So with the perp guy and just his presence from day one, my gut was that it was organized. And then with the ransom, like, it was organized. It wasn't just someone. It just felt like definitely more than one person even.
How do you
that
picture
was my gut. I'm sorry?
How do you picture this guy? What's your picture of the perpetrator?
What do you mean by that? Like his face visually is?
No, well, just, I mean, you're describing his personality. You said he's organized. Okay, so how do you picture him in terms of, in your mind? Where do you put him in a profession? Where, I mean, obviously he's got some type of sophistication and relationship to, the ability to maybe manipulate, like you're talking about, the dark web, and, dig deep and figure out a way, to hide yourself. So what kind of profession is this guy in?
I think
Chris is clearly trying to smoke this guy out. You're asking a random caller to profile Porch Guy? Or you're hoping he trips up and tells you something? Sir, I see what you're doing.
the important question is that if really if you guys even believe that the ransom and this are tied together, because if the perp guy is part of an organized, even just an organized, like a criminal.
And I respect your call here very, very much. I'm curious as to how you read the LD connections.
Well, the LD was like the first real, and wasn't he even pulled over? I mean, that's, I guess, and now you have people saying, well, the FBI is building a case, and perhaps they are. So he's not being talked about anymore. He just kind of fell off, and yet he was detained. They must have had a reason to even get the warrant, and there's more similarities. He has a girlfriend that he denies having, and they're involved in stuff. And apparently, I believe Monks or Sleuth or someone said that his girlfriend was like Nancy's niece. And so there is kind of a triangle there. And, well, I guess that was the first real suspect, but it fell outside of the cartel thing. And you have to understand the cartel, that was just my first day. And then more and more happened, and here we are.
See, the guy rambles and he goes through all the different, he's like, in the beginning, I'm thinking cartel. And then after the daily and the Kayla of it all, then I'm thinking not cartel. Is he just a guy sharing his thought process, or is he a suspect? I don't know. We're here to decide. We are going to decide ourselves.
Yeah. Do you think the cartel would take this risk?
For that kind of money?
BMD, I did not. I normally watch it, right? But I didn't watch that night because it was a call-in show. I started it, and then I went and did something else. And I got these clips off of X. Was it about an hour-long call? Can you tell me that much? But I just started this show. This is 2 clips I pulled off of X and put together. So this is what we are reviewing. And then the caller calls into Sleuth Intuition channel after all this.
I mean, weren't they asking for $6 million? So yes, even in a small, like, and then what's crazy is that
you take a payment plan.
A payment plan?
Yeah, I mean, I know how Bitcoin works, right? Where you can set it up to where it progresses automatically, 4, 6, 8.
What? What are you doing? Will you take a payment plan? Bitcoin, Lord, never mind. I'm going to leave that back there in my Web3 world that I came back from a little while back. No, Chris, stop it.
But
yes, sir.
Would the cartel do that, knowing that they're going to risk an entire weekend with an 84-year-old woman in their possession?
Okay, well, one thing is the TMZ rat and the ransoms they do get mixed, and so from what I understand and gather is that
so he had that guy on the line for a whole 2 hours. Damn. That's wild.
The rat was asking for partial now and the rest later. But
see, the rat was asking for partial now and the rest later. Is that just a term he would normally use for a narc, a tattletale? Or is that, that could be his normal way of speaking. Or he could be mad and calling the guy a rat, that dirty little rat. I don't know.
The other notes were asking for like 6 million with a true deadline.
Right. So what's your logic to why the cartel would send it to a news agency and then a media agency as big as Hollywood, i.e. TMZ? Do they want that kind of pressure, you think? I mean, I'm just curious of what your thought process is.
Yes, sir. Now that we're in day 100 plus, I no longer really feel strongly about the cartel, and I diminished that position down to even like a game.
I think Chris also may have texted Bob because they're on the same page. You're going to see that coming up.
Member or someone like I was speaking about, just that's connected, and you don't have to be in a cartel. Even someone in the Tucson area or close to the border that's just good with being a criminal.
Oh, Butterfly, if you saw Big City Dan like I did, Maureen's like, you better give me that phone call, Chris. I need to evaluate, sir. Let her have at it. Let her have at it.
Yeah,
So,
no, I respect that 1,000%.
Mhm.
Bob?
Yep.
Aaron,
So I'm not dying on the hill of being cartel at all anymore.
No, I know. I'm just curious what what your thought process is and how it's, connecting the dots here. Bob, what were you going to say?
yeah, Aaron, let me ask you a question. Where do you think Nancy is? Where do you think he or they took her, and where would you envision she is right now?
Can I tell you something, Bob, before I answer that question? And I
Sure.
greatly appreciate your question. I once went to a median in Lafayette, Louisiana, because I'm from Louisiana, and one of my friends just asked me to go, and it was out in the middle of nowhere, and this guy apparently was in the newspaper for solving crimes. I mean, he was the real deal. So um, I just wanted to mention that. It's just, I'm not a medium at all. I'm not even alluding to that. I had no idea really why I told you that, but just I am kind of really obsessed with every facet that, you know. So to answer your question, if I, at this point, I mean, I feel like she has to be just concealed somewhere. And especially if it was someone that set a deadline, wanted money, it got so big.
Bob asked that question for a specific reason. They're trying to smoke this guy out and get any information they can in case he is the guy. That is the vibe I'm getting. Of course, I want to know where they took. I keep saying, where'd they take her? I can't leave the neighborhood. They can't leave the house. I can't leave the neighborhood. I've tried multiple ways to get out of that neighborhood. Which way did they go, right? It was always what I want to know. Which way? Toward Cali? Toward New Mexico? Did we go south toward the border? Where did we go? That's my question. So Bob's like, where would you take her? Where did they take her? Like, guys, concealed, Butterfly.
You gotta dispose. You, that's what I feel.
Okay. Well, it's yeah, I agree with you. He she rather has to be somewhere. I mean, obviously she's concealed, right? But I mean, what do you think this person or persons did with her? Do you think they took her to the desert, to Mexico? Do you think they've concealed her somehow in a home, or what's your sense on that?
This is a very interesting line of questioning. I hate that I missed the whole call.
I, if I even knew the answer, that's $1 million question, and I understand that.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'd have done the same thing these guys are doing. I would have. I'd have been less talk. Tell me more. Yeah? I got questions. I'm not going to run you off. I want you to talk to me.
Concealing and disposing are two different things, and I don't even know which one it is. But I originally also looked at the landscape and even the egress from day one, and I probably had the egress before it was even like just it was literally one road, and you just had to make a right and another right and another right. So, and I
What? That was interesting right there. I'm sorry. What did he just say? Hold on. Look, it's going to be.
the landscape and even the egress from day one, and I probably had the egress before it was even like just it was literally one road, and you just had to make a right and another right and another right. So, and I also looked at the mountains. You don't really want to go north, but yet that's maybe a great desolate place, but it just doesn't feel like they would have went north into the mountain. So south.
I agree. We going south now? I'm not going south. My mind's going toward Cali. Monterey Spike.
And, you know, the border being as close as it is just, it is what it is. It doesn't mean that she's there, but
Are you local to the area?
I'm in Phoenix. I'm in.
So he's in Phoenix, but he had been from Louisiana, right? And thank you for becoming a member. Let's see, where did it go? And well, first, here's one. Niece found me through J4J. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for becoming a member. Was it Jennifer who membered up a minute ago? Thank you all for being here. And everybody who did come in from Jay's channel, we appreciate you, and we are so glad to have you all over.
Yeah.
So you are sort of local to the area. You know the area.
Yes, sir. I've been here for 11 years now.
Oh,
And I've wanted to be involved. I really, truly have wanted to, because the FBI is here in Phoenix. I've literally wanted to ask for a job.
He's literally wanted to ask the FBI for a job. He has been in Phoenix for 11 years. He comes from Louisiana. Well, he says could be a story. This could be all made up in this guy's head. Let's not pretend we don't have delicate people on the internet, because we do, right? It takes all kinds. Y'all remember that one time that guy popped into our chat, wanted to jump on the panel and whatever, and we were like, okay, we'll bite. And then when he got up there, he was this weirdo, and he did not look presentable, and he wanted us to watch what was it he wanted us to watch with him? Old Forensic Files or something, right? And we were like, dude, what? It takes all kinds, right? That's just what I'm saying. This guy could be somebody with a serious mental problem. It could be an up and up guy. I don't know, but we're going to continue to evaluate. I do believe the guy might have a little bit of a problem, but I don't know for sure yet. We'll continue to evaluate, especially when we get into the sleuth intuition part where he called and he shows us
just to help, just to see what they know, and just to help and be critically thinking, just because this is, it's so critical.